What's going on, guys? Welcome to the weekly live chat. I've been doing these every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It is the week of UFC 282, Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev. I have a bunch of predictions out on the channel. I'm really looking forward to the event. Not the greatest card ever, but still a solid card. Got some solid prelims. I have a bunch of predictions. I got a bunch of UFC 282 videos out on the channel. I have an entire UFC 282 playlist on the channel you can go check out. I'll be doing a pre-fight stream on Friday evening, as well as a Bellator stream. I'm not sure what time I'm going to be doing it. I got to see. I think the Bellator main card starts at 9 p.m. Eastern. So I might do like I don't know, like a 7 p.m. pre-fight UFC 282 stream where I go over my full card picks. Then I'll end that stream and then start my Bellator event live stream, which is Rafion Stotts versus Danny Sabatello. Not crazy excited for the card, but it's decent. It's a decent card. Um, but we're going to talk UFC 282 predictions. I've put out a bunch already on the channel. We're going to talk about TJ Dillashaw's retirement, which we talked about a bit yesterday. I did a random stream yesterday. I privated it for members only afterwards. And then we're also going to talk about Paddy Pimblett and not only his fight with Jarrett Gordon. There's been some stuff going on today with Paddy Pimblett and Ariel Helwani. And I really think it's worth discussing it. If you're in the Discord, you guys already know kind of my thoughts on it. If you follow me on Twitter, you kind of know my thoughts on it a little bit there. But we're going to talk about it a little bit more on the stream. As always, I'll be answering all your guys' questions as well. If you have a question, put it in the chat. I will answer it. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, it is December 7th, 2022. Let me take a look at how many subscribers we are at this point. So December 7th, 2022, we are at 6,293 subscribers. I think we're on track to hit 7,000 before the end of the year. I had a huge goal of 10,000, but nonetheless, we're going to reach a massive milestone before the end of the year. I mean, it's crazy to me we're almost at 7,000. I mean, it's crazy to me we're already over 6,000. We're, almost at 6,300. If you're watching this stream and you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. If you're also watching this stream and you have not liked it yet, down below, click the like button. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps support the channel, push it out to more people, and in effect grow the channel. So I would greatly appreciate it if you like the stream. And I think that's it, guys. Throw some questions in the chat. We're going to talk about a bunch of different things. Whatever you guys really want to discuss. Basically, this entire stream is up to you guys. I just go through and answer your guys' questions. What's up, Jordan? Mark Davis says, today in 1941, Pearl Harbor, never forget. That is crazy. That is crazy. Is it? I thought it was like the 12th or something, but I guess you're probably right. Yeah. So 81 years. It's crazy that 81 years ago, Pearl Harbor happened. That's a weird first comment to start off with, but never forget. USA says never forget the USS Liberty. That is true. What is up, Billy? What's going on, man? Appreciate you, Billy. I appreciate you very much. What's up, Joey? What's up, Niles? I didn't get a chance to watch all of the Ariel video. Came here instead. I'll finish it up later. Like up the chat. You were watching the Ariel Helwani, like Paddy Pimblett, like response type thing. Yeah, we're going to talk about it on this stream. So I watched like 90% of it. I actually dozed off a little bit, so I didn't watch all of it. But, I mean, it's pretty telling. And I'll tell you this. We're going to get to it more in depth in a minute. Ariel absolutely. And I'm no big fan of Ariel. Okay? Ariel absolutely buries Paddy Pimblett and Dana White. Absolutely buries them with facts. With straight up facts, undeniable, irrefutable facts, with evidence as well. So it's actually pretty hilarious to watch. And Paddy Pimblett, I guess and we're gonna get to this more in a minute, but Paddy Pimblett is just becoming some of, I guess, a company man pushing whatever Dana White wants him to push. I guess he's sucking up to Dana. But he's kind of embarrassed himself here. He's really embarrassed himself. So we'll talk about that more in depth in a little bit. Nick Brown says, wore my Venom gear and the Red Rock shoes and had two girls wanting a threesome. So today was a good day. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised you only had 2. Usually if I wear both that combination, I'm getting chased around by mobs. What's up, Joey? What's up, MMA peeps? What's going on, Vince? Joey, how's it going? I've been here, just been quiet, looking great. Thank you, Alana. I hope you're doing well. Long time subscriber, Alana Peterson. Appreciate you, and thanks for joining the live stream. I'll always hate Ariel for that one time he made Joanna cry. Fill me in on that. I'm mistaken. I'm missing what you're saying there. I don't remember what specifically you're talking about. So I would love for you to fill me in on that. By the way, do you believe the rumor TJ retired to get out of the USADA pool? Yes, I have an entire video dedicated on it. I say in that video, you can go watch it. It's on the channel. It's maybe 15 minutes long or so. I go through the entire situation. I can say with damn near 100% certainty, we will see TJ Dillashaw again. He has retired to get out of the USADA pool, to get out of the random testing, to heal up. I mean, essentially, if he's going to be out for over a year anyway, why would he want USADA showing up at his door? Why would he want to worry about what supplements he's taking to recover his injury? You know, he's taking a page out of the Conor McGregor playbook. Retire, remove yourself from the USADA pool, essentially, because Conor didn't formally retire. He just removed himself from the USADA pool. And then, you know, he's able to use whatever he needs to do to heal up that shoulder of his. And I said this also in the video. I'm very, very confident that we will see TJ Dillashaw fight by the end of 2024. So, do you believe that he is retired, TJ, or is this a case who cried wolf? No, I think he knows he's not retired. I think this is 100% a strategic move by TJ Dillashaw. I do not believe that TJ's retired. I mean, listen to the way he talked after the fight. He still had that competitiveness. I mean, he's getting up there in age. He is injury prone, but I think he's just doing it to get out of the USADA pool for a while. Top 5 most anticipated fights of 2023. That is a video that will be coming up in the following weeks, but I'll give you one of them, but I've said this a million times, so it's no surprise if you've been watching the channel. John Jones versus Francis Ngannou. Did you watch the Paddy Pimblett Dana White interview? I have not watched that entire thing. I've just saw the part about Ariel Helwani in that. So I'll have to go watch the rest of that as well. I don't know if I can stomach it, to be honest, though. So I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Yeah, the response. Yeah, the response was very interesting from Ariel Helwani. Straight up buried Paddy Pimblett and Dana. So we'll talk about that for a little bit more in depth. Essentially what happened is Paddy Pimblett went out there with Dana White, and essentially he said Ariel's making money off the fighters, and he was mad at me because I wouldn't cancel a paid interview to do an interview with him. And basically Ariel's a little rat, and if he's so worried about fighter pay because he complains about fighter pay, then why isn't he opening up his big pockets and paying the fighters? And Ariel came back on his show today with about an hour rant. I probably watched 50 minutes of it, 45 minutes of it, and absolutely destroyed Paddy Pimblett. He said this was last year. He said Ariel tried to get him on a show in New York, and basically Paddy had other engagements that he was being paid for, and that Ariel was pissed and tried to get him to cancel to do his show for free when he had paid engagements. And Dana's like, I couldn't agree more. That guy, blah, blah. And he's been fired from every job he's ever had, and blah, this and that and this and that. And you guys know me. I personally don't like Ariel Helwani. I think, you know, he's one of the best interviewers in the game. Not a fan of Ariel at all. Ariel, for the longest time, was a mouthpiece of the UFC. He was directly being paid by the UFC while claiming to be a journalist. And what was happening is he was expected to talk about things in a certain light. And once he broke free from them, you know, for whatever reason, you know, if you want to say he was fired by Fox, but it was basically UFC doing it because Ariel Helwani broke news. And doesn't really make sense, but if you understand the context that the UFC essentially looked at Ariel as a publicist. And they were feeding him news all the time. He finally gets a scoop of his own. They ask him not to break it. He breaks it anyway. And then basically he's on Dana and the UFC shit list from then on out. And I've never been a fan of that because I believe, now all his criticisms of the UFC have to be taken with a grain of salt. I do believe because of his grudge against the UFC, he is overly critical of the UFC. And sometimes I just think he has bad takes. But also I think for me, there's a sense of these criticisms don't come off as credible anymore because of the grudge that he has against the UFC. And Paddy Pimblett alluded to that also in the clip that I saw, where he's saying he's biased against the UFC and he's always complaining about fighter pay and he doesn't pay any fighters for interviews, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And so Ariel's kind of always rubbed me the wrong way, but Paddy is completely wrong. First off, it would make no sense. I get it. If the fighter can get paid for this or for that, so be it. Go out there and get your money. It makes no sense for an interviewer to pay for an interview. Basically, that throws all credibility out the window. You're paying a guy to sit down with you. That's not the way it works. That's just not the way it works. And for him to say that, oh, Ariel's not paying for interviews and Ariel's complaining about fighter pay and this and that. The fighters and the media work hand in hand. Without the media there to help promote them, to not do interviews with them, to not talk about them, to not write articles about them, to not make videos about them, they're nowhere near as well known. The fighters need the media, okay? And I talk about the MMA media all the time. I hate the MMA media in general. And I know technically you could say I'm part of the MMA media because I just have an MMA YouTube channel. I get that. But I'm talking about the big MMA companies that cover MMA full time, that go to the events, that do this and do that. And what they are, the ones that go to the events for the most part, they are also glorified publicists of the UFC. And I've talked about this countless times on the channel. But for those of you who don't understand, what happens is Dana White rules the UFC as if it's a dictatorship, okay? And basically what that means is he can revoke any credentials to any media member at any point he wants just because he doesn't like them and effectively blackball them. Because now they can't cover the UFC. It's going to be hard for them. If that's their job, is to cover live events, get live content for the website or whatever media outlet they work for, their career is essentially over. So what happens is you have a group of media members that are scared to push back or write anything negative about the UFC. So they skirt this line of, if you're ever watching a press conference with Dana White and you're like, why isn't this guy asking a follow-up question? Why isn't he pressing Dana a little bit more? And it's because they're worried. They might get their press credentials revoked. Now, Ariel Helwani has now built himself to a capacity where his name is so big in the MMA community, and the coverage that he doesn't rely on attending live events because of his name value and that he's the biggest MMA media member, that he doesn't have to worry about this anymore. He doesn't care. He can say whatever he wants about the UFC. And some of the criticisms that he has is very fair. And he's critical of the UFC. Some of the takes he has are just terrible. But that could just be a bad take. That could be him being biased towards the UFC. Like recently he said, the UFC should have went with Jan Glover too. I mean, that's the stupidest take I ever heard in my entire life, but okay. But now you have Paddy saying, look, Ariel's biased against the UFC, and if he's so worried about fighter pay, why isn't he paying the fighters? Because he's exploiting fighters to make money. Ariel is doing a job. He is paid to do a job. He is covering the UFC, and he's covering it very well. Even though I don't follow everything, The MMA Hour is one of the most watched things. You don't know how many times people come into these streams, say, hey, did you see so-and-so's interview on the MMA Hour? Ariel does a good job covering the sport. And now you have him saying, and keep in mind, Paddy Pimblett is talking to the president of the UFC, Dana White, and talking about, and let me read you a tweet that I tweeted out after seeing this clip. And this just accurately describes it all. Paddy Pimblett really complained to Dana White that Ariel Helwani is exploiting fighters for money. Oh, the irony. Paddy really comes out looking like shit with this whole Helwani situation. If anyone is exploiting fighters for money, it's Dana White, okay? And I understand there's a conversation to be had about, fighter pay and what's fair and what's not fair and what portion of the revenue profit share should be distributed to the fighters and this and that. But to say Ariel Helwani, who was doing a MMA media member's job in discussing the fighters, into talking about the fighters, and has worked in the MMA media landscape since what? 2006, 2007, I believe. I mean, he was long in the MMA media landscape before I even started watching the sport in 2010. I would say at least 4 or 5 years. He's been covering the sport forever. He's built himself into what he is today. And I get it. Part of that success is also the fact that he got on a big program with the UFC and with Fox Sports. But nonetheless, he put himself in a position to get that job. And now you're saying Ariel's exploiting them by talking to them, by helping getting their name out there. And I get the promotion is doing the same thing. But Paddy's the same one that was complaining he was on like a 12-12 contract. I don't believe there's any fighter out there that should be on a 12-12 contract. They're taking brain damage for $12,000. Brain damage. May get injured in the fight, may not be able to fight the rest of the year. They got $12,000. That sounds like exploitation if I've ever heard it. Not interviewing a guy. And it just makes no sense that he says fighters should be paid for the interviews. I just feel like the media and the fighter are working hand in hand here. The media is getting coverage for the fans. The media is asking questions to the fighter to get information for the fans. And then the fighter is essentially promoting themselves by getting their name out there. It does not work like that. No credible media outlet ever, whether you talk about regular news or MMA news, none of them are paying their guests for interviews. That's just not how it works. And Paddy Pimblett, for some reason, I think it's his manager, crawled up his ass and gave him this idea, is saying, you know what, I'm charging for interviews. And what's ironic is Ariel covered Paddy Pimblett for many of years, had him on the show many of times when he was fighting over at Cage Warriors. And also the story that he told on the Dana White, on the podcast with Dana White, was completely false as well. And I wouldn't normally say that because I'd be like, well, I don't really know the truth. Ariel proved it to be false. Ariel had a voice note from Paddy Pimblett reaching out to Ariel and saying, hey, Ariel, I will be in New York. We should do something. And I'm paraphrasing it, but essentially Paddy reached out to Ariel and said, let's do an interview or something. Ariel then reached out to Paddy's manager because Paddy said, reach out to him. He'll schedule it. He knows everything I'm doing. And essentially what his manager said is, do you guys have something in the budget to get a Paddy Pimblett interview? Essentially saying, are you paying Paddy for this because he has other things? And Ariel kind of, got butthurt about it and said, look, basically offended. And he said, look, I've never been asked that my entire life. I've never heard of that. That's not something we're doing. That is, basically questioning my journalistic integrity, which we can have the conversation about whether, he's credible or not, as far as, you have that checkered past, which I already discussed. But Paddy reached out to him. And that's just absolute straight up insanity. Paddy twisted this story because he knows how Dana White feels about Ariel Helwani, and he's sucking up to the boss. He is sucking up to the boss. And Ariel goes out there, plays it line by line, and basically refutes everything that he said. He's exploiting the fighters and he wants clicks and he's making all this money off YouTube. And I understand that Ariel is making money per se off the fighters. You know, if you want to just say, okay, well, he's covering the sport, he's getting paid to cover the sport. But he has a contract with the company he works with. You know, the company he works with produces the show. They pay him a flat rate, a contract, a yearly salary, and he does what he's required to do. I mean, he's working a job. He's not going out there exploiting fighters for money. I mean, come on, that makes absolutely no sense. I understand they're working hand in hand. The fighters come on the show, people watch the show, and therefore, you know, he's making money off of that, I guess, because he has the contract with the company that he works for. But it's a long stretch to say, oh, he's exploiting fighters. And then he's saying Ariel Helwani's been fired from every job ever because nobody liked him. It's not true. That's literally not factually accurate. Dana White hated Ariel Helwani. He got him fired from Fox Sports because he hated Ariel Helwani. Then Ariel signed with ESPN. Dana White tried to get Ariel Helwani fired from ESPN. And then Dana White uses those examples as a reason that Ariel Helwani isn't a good guy. So essentially, you tried to get him fired twice, you got him fired once, and now you're regurgitating these examples as why Ariel's a bad guy. Well, he's gotten fired multiple times, which he only got fired once, let go from Fox Sports. And that was your doing because you didn't like him for no other reason. ESPN stuck with him. ESPN offered him a contract extension. Ariel decided to go elsewhere. So that's, and again, this is coming from someone, I don't even like Ariel Helwani. I don't even like him. But the facts are the facts. We don't have to base what is a fact and what is fiction based on who we like and do not like. These are just talking points from Dana White. Dana White has these simp fans and these simp following that will regurgitate anything he says as if it's the gospel. And this has been going on for years and years and years and years. John Jones, UFC 251 or UFC 151. John Jones says, I'm not fighting on short notice against a totally different stylistic matchup. Dana White buries him for it. All the fans jump in line. The media jumps in line. The fighters that were on the card jump in line. He buried John Jones for the cancellation of 151. It was Dana White's fault the fight card was canceled because that fight card was absolute dog shit and it was built around solely the John Jones fight. It could not go forward without John Jones. He pushes these narratives and Dana White pushes these narratives and the simp zombie-like Dana White, just gobblers regurgitate it. And this happens time and time and time again. And Dana's so full of shit. And Dana doesn't like Ariel because I believe, this is my personal opinion, this is speculation, I think Dana White takes credit for the position that Ariel is in today. He thinks I built Ariel up and now he has this large following. He has this large platform and it's because of me. And now he's criticizing me. He's using that platform to criticize me. Dana White took on Ariel Helwani, wanted to build him into this massive MMA media, basically talking head that would do promotion for the UFC. And he can't stand the fact that Ariel is now criticizing them. And if it was up to Dana White, for a guy you hear say, I don't care about this, I don't care about that, Dana White has the biggest grudge against Ariel Helwani. And there's a lot of people that I don't like personally. But Dana White wants to end his career. Dana White is so used to getting what he wants. He's rich. He's powerful. He bullies people within the UFC. He is so used to getting what he wants. He wants to end Ariel Helwani. And the fact that Ariel Helwani is essentially too big to end within the MMA landscape, that eats him alive. So every chance he gets, shits on Ariel Helwani. Paddy Pimblett is basically just gobbling up the Dana White narrative. And then he flat out lied on top of it. I like Paddy Pimblett. He comes out of this entire situation looking like absolute dog shit. Ariel proved that what he said was wrong. Ariel never got mad because he wouldn't cancel paid interviews. Paddy reached out to Ariel, basically alluded, Ariel, we want you to pay us for an interview. And Ariel said no and was offended by the notion. And they got butthurt about it. And then Ariel said something, somewhere along the lines on some other podcast, like, have you ever been asked to pay someone to do an interview? And then people started getting on Paddy Pimblett's case. And I think that is totally egregious to expect that. Doesn't make sense. It's not how it works. If he can get away with it, get it paid all you can. But to then go out of your way to spin a story in a fashion that tries to make you look good and make Ariel look like a scumbag, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and you flat out lied. You got called for it. And I'm curious to where this goes from here. And Dana White, I mean, you could see it when they panned to him while Ariel was just shitting on, or Paddy was shitting on Ariel. Dana White was getting a hard on. I think I might have seen him slip his hand down his pants while Paddy was talking shit about Ariel, calling him a rat, and, Dana going and saying, this is the biggest piece of shit ever. And say what you will about Ariel. I've said, plenty about him that I don't like certain things about what he's done. I have not heard one thing about Ariel that you can say, oh yeah, this guy's a real piece of shit. Oh, he's done this. He's robbed this guy. He's taken money from this guy. Or he's done this. Now, I think Ariel gets paychecks from certain entities and then pushes certain storylines. But it is what it is. It is what it is. He's making money. But to sit there and just try to shit on the guy, and then when it really comes down to it, when you really take it line by line, if you were to stop it and then follow up, because what they do is they throw out all these different things. He's fired from every job. Nobody likes him. He's a piece of shit. He's a scumbag. He's a rat. He's asking me not to get paid so I can come do his free show so he can make money. You throw all these different little things out there. It's hard to refute them all. But the fact that Ariel went and played this clip, line by line, paused it and discussed each and every line that they said, and it was clear as day. It was clear as day with the evidence he presented that Paddy Pimblett's an idiot. Paddy Pimblett embarrassed himself here. I guess he's getting too full of himself, thinking he's some, I guess he's like Jorge Masvidal after he gets the viral KO where he just thinks he's so big. Ariel covered him for a long time when he was nobody. And I'm not saying, oh, be grateful of that. But dude, the bare minimum you can do for a guy who's covered you for a long time, who's given you airtime when nobody cared about your name, is don't make up blatantly false stories talking shit about him. And you look so dumb that now he's come out. And I like that Ariel, I've said this before. I like that Ariel Helwani is now coming out and defending himself. It used to be, oh, you would hear these different things about Ariel and that he would keep quiet. He's been taking these things head on. And I appreciate it too. And he's not just giving some blanket statement, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. Every time this stuff has happened with Brendan Schaub, with now Paddy Pimblett and Dana White, and there's probably other ones that I don't remember, Ariel has gone through it in detail and basically destroyed them. So Ariel Helwani wins this one 10-8. Paddy Pimblett should be embarrassed. Everyone at the media day should ask him about it. Oh, what do you have to say that you said Ariel Helwani didn't want to interview you or wanted to interview you and you were canceling your paid obligations? But wait a second, you reached out to him. He didn't reach out to you. So Paddy should be embarrassed. He looks terrible here. And this all stems from one factor, that Paddy Pimblett was trying to suck up to Dana White. And there will be a day where Paddy Pimblett hates Dana White, where Paddy Pimblett's trying to renegotiate with Dana White, and he's not getting what he wants, and he's sitting out, and he's complaining, and this and that, and he thinks he's worth more than he's getting, and all of a sudden, he's going to look like a total idiot even more than he already does. Well, you were simping for Dana. You were saying Ariel needs to pay the fighters, rather than the promoter who in some pay-per-view cards is paying less than 6% of the total revenue to fighters. You were simping for them and saying some guy who maybe makes $100,000, $200,000. I don't know what Ariel makes per year, but he makes a good living. You're saying that guy is the one that should be paying you, who's helping you promote yourself as well. Meanwhile, you're taking brain damage for the guy that's sitting in front of you for 12-12. And you're saying, yeah, this guy over here who does interviews is exploiting fighters for money. Not you, Dana. Let me gobble you up some more. And, we're taking brain damage for you, and you're paying me $12,000 and $12,000. Let me gobble you up. Oh, yeah, Dana. And it's just, I like Paddy. I don't like Ariel. I like Dana sometimes. Half the time he's full of shit. But for me, none of that comes into play here. I'm just giving you my thoughts on it. It's an embarrassment for Paddy Pimblett. It looks like he's being a total brown noser for Dana White. And to sit there and say, oh, he's begging me for an interview and he wanted me to cancel my paid obligation so I could be on his show. And he's a little rat profiting off the fighters. He is doing a job just like anyone else is doing a job. You act like he's Dr. Phil, bringing on these, head cases and exposing them on TV for profit. That's what you're acting like he's doing. He's doing interviews with fighters. Stop pretending, oh yeah, he's exploiting them. He's being a interviewer. He's being a host. And, it's just Paddy Pimblett looks terrible in this entire situation. Okay, let's move on to some other questions. I hope that answered that question. I got to see where I was at. But I hope you guys enjoyed my take on the Ariel Helwani situation. I thought about making a video on it, but I haven't. I decided maybe I don't know. I might still do it. But I knew we would be talking about it on this stream. And it's a very interesting situation, but I'm curious what comes out of it next. Okay. Where are we at? Okay. What is happening? What's up, White? What's up, Anthony? I don't think Ariel will be in this community for too long. He is loved by few and hated by many. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think he will be around for a long time. And I don't think he's as universally hated as Dana likes to make it out to be. I think a lot of people like Ariel. I think a lot of people like his interviews. I think a lot of fighters like Ariel. I don't think Ariel is a bad person. I find him a bit annoying just because he was collecting paychecks from the UFC for years to basically give favorable coverage. And he's essentially came out and said it. But it's just, for me, it's like, it's hard for me to let that slide. Ariel made Joanna cry at post-fight conference with a stupid question about her coach leaving her, I think. I don't know. I have to check that out. I didn't even know Ariel responded. Yes, he did. Mitchell Topuria should be moved to the feature bout with Robbie Lawler out. Yeah, I agree, but it looks like that isn't happening. And guys, do me a favor. If you haven't already, like the stream. I would greatly appreciate it if you like the stream. And also, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. We're almost to 6,300 subscribers. We're cruising to 7,000. So we're going to be to 7,000 before you guys know it. So I would greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. I'm sorry, but Ariel is too much of a wuss to cover MMA. He's got hella thin skin. I mean, maybe he gets butthurt, but he's defending himself. I don't get easily butthurt at all. I mean, it's impossible to make me butthurt. It's impossible to upset me. I would defend myself as well. He should defend himself. I think he's more of a wuss if he didn't defend himself. So I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one, Aiden. What's up, Brendan? I didn't know fighters got paid for interviews. They don't typically. Joey, would you rather have the Magny hairline or only be able to watch every other UFC pay-per-view for the next 50 events? Every other UFC pay-per-view. I'm not taking that Magny hairline. I'd never be able to show my face ever again anywhere. Air rubbed you too? What? Patty the Batty, Little Seal, Patty the Fatty. Fighters should get a minimum of 100 G's to fight in the UFC. I don't know if that's necessarily the answer. Maybe, maybe not. But it's definitely, we can all agree, it's not what it should be right now. I like learning from you. Appreciate you, Bigfoot. I'm glad you've been enjoying it. Dana just has an investor. Check forecast for bets and predictions for... Check forecast for bets. Oh, I guess you're just promoting your channel there. Okay, that's not really the way to do it, my friend. That's not really the way to do it. But I guess you got to start somewhere. But it's not really, that's just not the way to promote the channel. You just got to keep pumping out content. Come up with good titles, good thumbnails. Keep working on improving the content. It's not really, I'm going to tell you right now, you look it up. It's not, the way to build your channel is not going to do that type of stuff. But I wish you the most success. Joey been ranting for so long, I forgot this was live. Sorry about that, but I guess you're enjoying it, so nonetheless. Glad I found your channel, bro. You're cool as F. I appreciate you, Demetrius96. I'm glad you enjoyed the channel. How did you find the channel? What did you find it on? Did you find a stream? Did you find this stream? Did you find a prediction video? What did you find? I'm always curious. What's up, Jordan? Dana got that verbal abuse. That's true. I hate Chael, but he once said, once you get in certain money in life, you want things that money can't buy, trust, power, control, etc. This is facts. That is true. Dana got a hard on. I'm dead. Dude, he definitely got a hard on. Did you see him smiling? Did you see the way he was smiling when Paddy was just... And he's like, couldn't say it better myself, Paddy. He's like, couldn't say it better myself. And he's got his hands down his pants. And I'm all for the Ariel Helwani slander. I like the Ariel Helwani slander, okay? But it just doesn't make sense. If you want to see the clip of Ariel Helwani playing the voice memo from Paddy Pimblett, basically disproving everything, I tweeted it out. And you can go check it out. It's on my Twitter. Go follow me on Twitter at MMAJoeyC. You can also find my Instagram as well. So if you want to find that, I think it's the last tweet or second to last tweet on my Twitter. It really makes Paddy look terrible. Big drama show, leaking Brock Lesnar fight. He's done many things, but Paddy's wrong here. Yeah, but the leaking the Brock Lesnar fight wasn't necessarily wrong. That's his job. But I understand the situation. He was being paid by the UFC. Lamal 10-8. Yeah, Ariel wins 10-8 in my opinion. Might even be a 10-7 in my opinion. I wonder if Paddy Topuria will have a scuffle at the presser. They're never going to book that fight. Topuria, I think that because of the size disadvantage, Paddy could win the fight. Topuria is a far better fighter and would probably brutally chin Paddy Pimblett. But it'd be interesting for sure. I think it's the fight to book. Paddy making a mistake dissing Ariel facepalm. Yeah. You bring up good points, Joey. I don't like Ariel. I'm going to decide whoever doesn't. So I'm going to decide whoever doesn't like him. I don't know what that's about. Ariel making UFC more anticipated for sure with interviews, so Paddy needs to rethink what he said. Yeah, and there's a lot of people who are fans of Ariel. And he covers the sport in a manner that's easily consumable and does some of the best fighter interviews. The best fighter interviews in my opinion. Do you think the UFC would book Paddy versus Ferguson if Paddy can get a win this weekend? It's very possible. Please don't make a video of Ariel. Nobody cares. I think people do care, but I may or may not make it. People act like it's work to go on his show. Like seriously going to work as a roofer is work, not having to conversate with someone. Yeah, it is what it is. If you don't want to go, you don't have to go. Nobody's being forced to go. But don't cry about it. What's up, Anthony? So who do you like more, Rogan or Dana? They're probably about the same. What do you think of Morono versus Ponzinibbio, possibly fight of the night? I think it's a better matchup than the original Ponzinibbio versus Lawler matchup. I think it's far better than that matchup. Gen Z feminist and 12-year-old follow Ariel's tabloid journalism. Ariel does a good job in interviews. That's about it. Did you see comments Rogan had about Conor? Yes, and he's right. Brendan Schaub paying fighters to be on his terrible podcast is to blame. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Do you think the UFC would book Paddy? Yes, but I hope not. Can you see Dawkins winning versus Biggie? No, I got Biggie winning that fight. I think probably gets a first round KO, honestly. Thoughts on Mama? I don't know what you're talking about. If Paddy wins and Jim Miller wins, how do you see that fight going? I think it's 50-50. Is it on your IG too? I don't have Twitter. No, but I'll post it on there for you. Hey Joey, what's up? Homework. Any update on Derek Lewis? Nope. 3 rounds does Wonderboy versus Pereira go? 3 rounds, how does Wonderboy versus Pereira go? 170, not 185. Yeah, I figured 170. Michelle Pereira. I think Wonderboy beats him up on the feet and wins a decision. I might be a rare guy. I like Ariel and I like Joey. That's fine, dude. I'm sure there's a lot of people that like Ariel. No big deal. Everyone has their own preferences. Would you like Lawler versus RDA now? How would it go? No, RDA would beat him up. The press conference has potential to be really good, but these dog shit journalists are going to ask BS questions like, what's your favorite food, Patty? Yeah. I hope we had a good presser. I honestly don't see how Plessis and Patty can lose unless it's an Aspinall incident. I don't know how you can't see Plessis losing. I mean, he squares up his stance, throws sloppy combinations, and he could walk in. If Darren Till can keep it standing, which I think he can, Plessis is getting finished Plessis is getting finished in my opinion. Why was Dana just nodding his head and agreeing with Patty? I feel like he's starting to drool over this kid and becoming a yes man. Yeah, Patty's just sucking up to him, and Dana loves the power of it. Who can Delidze beat in the top 5? I don't know. He's looked better than ever, so it's crazy where he's going to be at. I mean, he's number 8 in the rankings. What a massive opportunity that he just took on short notice, and now he's ranked in the top 10. To go out there, beat Jack Hermanson in the manner in which he did. But who can he beat in the top 5? I think he beat Derek Brunson, and that's it. I think he'll beat Derek Brunson. Probably has a lot of trouble with the other guys. DC's going to start shouting Patty to Batty if Patty wins like he did Thug Rose. Yeah, probably, and ruin the moment. When's the PC coming? They're still waiting on 4090s, but probably it should be here in the month of December, so in the next 3 weeks. What fight are you looking forward to? Like on this card coming up? Topuria versus Mitchell. Do you think James Krause situation's got blown out of proportion? People act like inside betting doesn't happen in every sport. Back in the day, the mob paid off the NBA. I mean, I don't know if it's been overblown. We don't really have any answers yet, so it's hard to say. What's worse, Dana White fanboys or Elon Musk fanboys? Dana White. What is your Instagram? At MMA Joey C. What do you think of Figgy Moreno official for the main event? Is it official? I did not see that. Is that official? I don't know. So, yeah, I haven't seen that. So, if it is, I love that fight, but should it be a main event? It's debatable. Do you think they're announcing the UFC 283 main event this weekend? Probably not. How do you feel about RDA versus Thompson? That's not a fight I really want to see. But it could be fun, but it's just kind of a weird fight. I say you just book Wonderboy versus Pereira. I hope they is a great comeback for Darren. The man's been working hard. We'll see. Rather hope Till gets the dub. His striking is beautiful to watch. He does have very good striking. Very technical. Good jab. Good straight left. Till going to get smoked. We'll see. How would Buckley and Curtis do at 170 if they had a great cut? I don't know. There's a lot of grapplers there. I think they could have some success. But 170 is just far more stacked than 185. Till is a bomb and Plessis is way well past bombs. We'll see. We're going to hear Thug Nasty Part 2 if Mitchell gets a finish. I hope not. I feel like I got something stuck in my throat for some reason. I think UFC not allowing fighters to train with Krause is wrong. What are your thoughts? I don't know the whole story. They're trying not to end up losing betting everywhere because that's massive for their sponsors and everything. But depending on the info, if it comes out something really damning, then I understand. But right now, with the information I have today, I think it's ridiculous. If Darren Till loses in bad fashion, could you see the UFC releasing him? I think they would give him one more fight. I think the Krause thing is a big deal. If it didn't get taken care of, MMA becomes boxing. I think it is a big deal depending on what's actually happening, in my opinion. Do you think there's any chance RDA gets the counter fight? Yes, but I don't think it's a high probability it happens. So we'll find out. How does Jalen versus Armin go? That'd be very interesting. I think Armin would try to grapple him and would be able to grapple him, but would he get submitted? I'd probably go Armin decision maybe. Topuria versus Mitchell is the people's main event. Agree 150%. It is the people's main event. I'm really looking forward to Topuria versus Mitchell. It's going to be a fun fight. You got two unique personalities. You got two fighters who seem like they're the elite of the elite at featherweight, but not necessarily just proven just yet. But they've looked very good. They're ever evolving. And this is a fun matchup. This is my most anticipated fight on the card, to be quite honest. It's my most anticipated fight on the card. So, will Francis versus Jones go past 1 million buys? Yes. I opened my first box of UFC Chronicles 2022 the other day, and it was really fun. Didn't get anything crazy, but got some solid cards. Congratulations. Maybe Paddy versus Jalen Turner. I would take Jalen all day. Dude, Paddy, I don't know. I mean, who's he going to beat in that top 15? I guess they can try to spoon feed him Tony Ferguson's dead corpse. But when you start looking at guys like Armin Sarukian or even Guram Kutaladze outside of the top 15 or Terrence McKinney outside the top 15, I think Terrence McKinney badly smokes Paddy Pimblett. Badly. I don't think Paddy's going to be able to worm his way through them rankings, to be honest. I mean, realistically, they could give him Tony Ferguson. I think that's a winnable fight. Tony looked awful in his last fight. After that, there's nobody ahead of Tony Ferguson I could even fathom Paddy Pimblett beating. There's nobody. Who would be his best chance? Maybe Dan Hooker. But I think he gets smoked by Dan Hooker. Smoked by Dan Hooker. So, I don't know what they're going to do to him or what they're going to do with him. I think Jalen Turner beats him. I think Demir Magulov beats him. I think Arman Sarukian beats him. I think Dan Hooker beats him. I think Hanato Moicano beats him. I think everyone beats him. Guram, yeah, he beats him. I think Terrence McKinney's the fight to make. That's the fight I really want to see. Because Terrence McKinney technically could gas, and then Paddy could win. But I think McKinney smokes him badly. Dana loves Paddy now. He's going to get him a top 15 somehow. Yeah, they're probably going to throw somebody in the top 15 who doesn't belong and then make Paddy fight him. They're going to feed Paddy to Guram. If they do, I think he's going to lose to Guram. Why don't they do Tony Ferguson, Robbie Lawler on a fight night? I think that's the fight to make right now. Both guys are legends. Both guys are kind of washed up. And why not book them against each other? At least we'll get one guy a win. I forgot to tweet out the live stream. Boom. Tweet that out real quick. I forgot to. What about Riddell versus Paddy? How does that go? Riddell's like basically retired. He's taking some time off. So, I don't know, but I think Riddell would beat him. I think Riddell would chin him. But Riddell's on a down streak, so maybe he gets caught. Paddy is pretty powerful. He could KO Riddell, but I don't think he beats Riddell. Terrence McKinney fight and Figgy versus Moreno fights are the only ones I'm excited for at 283. Yeah. 283 isn't the greatest card. They won't do McKinney versus Pimblett, unfortunately, as they are both potential future stars. I know I want to see it bad. I went to UFC Orlando for my first UFC event, and damn, it was fun. The fans made it difficult, though. I couldn't count how many times I heard grab his D and twist it off. That's annoying as hell. But I'm glad you had a fun. I'm glad you enjoyed the card. Um, I'm glad you had a good time, and I'm glad it was a good main event. And you didn't end up watching something like Ion Kutalabe versus Kennedy Nchukwu as a main event. In my opinion, after seeing both of their recent fights, I could see Lawler clipping Tony, as crazy as that sounds. Yeah, I would lean Lawler in that matchup. After seeing what Tony looked like in his last fight, Till is shredded. Is he? Is he? I did not know that. What did he post? Where did he post at? Or where's the pictures at? Dude, okay, let me see something real quick. Okay, let's see. Give me 1 second, guys. Maybe it's right here. Nope. Okay. Paddy said he would have put up a better fight against Islam than Charles did. What a joke. I'm assuming you just sent me it. Let's see. I'm looking at, somebody just sent me a picture of Darren Till. Oh yeah, he does look pretty good shape. He does look in pretty good shape. Would have loved to have Nunes as Shevchenko 283 main event. That'd have been decent. That'd have been all right. I mean, not the greatest, but I would have still looked forward to that matchup. That's a fight that we need to see a third time. Who was more impressive versus Woodley, Covington, or Burns? Burns. I think Burns did a lot more, where Covington just kind of, ended up getting a injury TKO. Otherwise, he wouldn't have finished him. I know Burns didn't finish him, but Burns just dominated him from bell to bell. Let's just go from 282 to 284. I'm looking forward to Moreno versus Figgy 4, so I can't say that. If UFC books McGregor versus Ferguson, I'll lose hell of respect for Dana and the UFC. Agreed. I don't know if I'm watching that. I don't know if I'm covering that. I mean, I guess I have to, but this shit's embarrassing. Shit's straight up embarrassing if they book that. I'd be just shocked. If Till wins, I say they match him up with Kevin Holland. The beef between them already exists because of Hamza. I would like that matchup. Paddy, one of the worst hype fighters ever. He will hit the top 10, literally. Will he even hit? No, he'll never hit top 10 unless they somehow worm his way to the top 10. So, no, I don't think he will. I sent it to your Instagram. Thank you. Would have loved to. Okay, read that. Have you seen Francis Ngannou's YouTube channel? I have not. Broke my rear window on my truck today, so let's cover the deductible with some picks. Who we liking so far? Magomed and Pons. Magomed, Paddy Pimblett, Pons, Ilia Topuria. I think Darren Till. A lot of people are probably picking against Darren Till. Most people I've seen are picking against Darren Till. A lot of comments are telling me that I'm crazy for picking Darren Till. I think Darren Till smokes him. So, there you go. Ferguson shouldn't even be in the top 15 anymore. Dober, Moises, Dawson, Green, Kutalade, all better than him. Agreed. Tony versus Till next? Stop it. Dillashaw should be jailed for fighting with one arm. That's throwing a fight. It really is. I don't know. I think that's a bit extreme, but I understand what you're saying. I understand that you're unhappy with it. Joey, did you see Paddy go balls deep on Dana? I need to see that. Yeah, I mean, he's sucking up to Dana for sure. It's actually quite embarrassing for him sucking up to Dana so hard. And I guess it is what it is, though. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? How do you see Shavkat versus Edwards going? That's a tough fight to pick. Shavkat Rachmanov and Leon Edwards. Shavkat, I haven't seen enough to pick him over Leon. But, oh no, my camera's acting up again. Is everything good? Did you guys see that on your end? Yeah, now it's glitching again. My camera, for some reason, is now acting up. I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to have to shut off my camera real quick, guys. Hold on, is it back to normal now? Nope, it's still doing that. I have to shut off my camera real quick, guys. This is a random issue I've been having with my camera. This is like the third time ever I've had this issue. So hopefully it's... Nope. It's still having the issue. Now it's not working right again. I don't know what's going on here. Give me 1 second, guys. My camera's not working right. Trying to get it fixed. I don't know what's going on. And I don't know what to do about it either. I can't find any Google results on fixing it. I just remove the battery and then turn it back on. I don't know. Give me 1 more second. Hopefully it's fixed now. This is so annoying too. Right in the middle of a stream. Okay, hopefully it's good now. Whoa, I just slid completely out of the way. Hopefully that's fixed. If not, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't really Google what's wrong. I can't find anything. I can't find anything about the random thing that it does. That's the third time it's ever done it. It did it in July. Then it did it like 2 weeks ago. And then now it's doing it again. And I can't, it's just random like flashing something. I might try to reset it to factory settings. And hopefully it never does it again. Okay, now where was I at now that brutally interrupted the live stream? If you ain't got to fight Burns, don't fight him because it was... I don't even know what that said. How do you see Shavkat Edwards going? Okay, we were talking about that. I haven't seen enough from Shavkat to pick him over Edwards, but I am very high on Shavkat, and if he proves himself against some more contenders, some decent contenders, I could see a world where Shavkat beats Leon Edwards. I saw your TJ video, and I knew instantly he was going to come back. If he doesn't come back in 2024, he will be damn near 38. I mean, how high level can you be at 38 at bantamweight? I don't know, but he will. He'll be back. Jake Matthews is underrated AF. He deserves to get a ranked opponent soon. I would like to see Jake Matthews versus Jack Della Maddalena. I think that'd be fun. But yeah, Jake Matthews looked amazing in the Andre Fialho fight. What's Chris Curtis's path to victory against Buckley? Don't get goaded into a brawl and just be the more technical striker. That's my opinion. And I think he should beat him. Maybe by KO, maybe by decision. I really want to root for Paddy, but every time he speaks, he sounds so arrogant and makes me dislike him. Okay? I know you hate these, but if you had to pick to watch Connor Toney or Dustin Connor 4, Dustin Connor 4. I would love to watch Dustin beat up Connor for a third time. Hacked camera, it's the ghost of Frank Yeager's corpse. Yeah. Sup, Joey? Switching USB ports might work. Joey, try it. Now, it's something weird with the camera. The camera like settings are just popping up on the actual camera itself. Refresh or re-add it. Now, it's something to do with the actual camera itself. And it's annoying. I think I'm going to put a big bet on Usman in the rematch. I think he gets it done at great odds. In the last fight, he was winning up until the last 2 minutes. I agree. After restart, all good. Yep. If only Wonderboy knew anything about grappling, I would favor him against any welterweight, but he's just terrible. Yeah, if he could stuff a takedown, it would be crazy. You know, I just realized there was a message that I read, and then with the camera debacle, I missed it. And now I can't figure out where it was. Yeah, so I missed it at some point. If I missed your... Okay. Toby says, Joey, I'm watching from Finland. By the way, I thought it'd be funny for you to hear that. That is crazy to me. That is crazy to me. Appreciate you watching, Toby. Okay. Wait, is your house haunted? No. Nice. You'll figure it out. It's probably firmware acting up, I'm sure. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't even know if you can update it. And I can't... I've tried to Google, like, you know, random pop-ups on, you know, Sony AA6400, and it just doesn't give me anything. Joe, when you started your channel, could you have ever imagined that would reach all the way to Finland? No, I could not have. I could have never imagined, 5,000 subscribers, let alone almost 7,000. That actually blows my mind. When I hit 10,000, my mind is really going to be blown. So, appreciate you. He kind of crazy how Wonderboy was an underdog against Holland. Yeah, I mean, when I watched the tape, I was pretty confident in Wonderboy. He lost decisions to Burns and Bilal, 2 grapplers. Agreed. I made 500 on a parlay on that card. I did 3 bets actually on that card. I went 3 out of 3. Have you seen the news on Darren Till? He sounds like he has an inbuilt reason to drop out last minute. Okay. I think Paddy may get clipped, not hating, just stating he gets hit a ton, and Gordon may just rock him. If not soon enough, somebody's going to break his jaw. Yeah, when Paddy loses, he's going to get brutally KO'd, in my opinion. I can't believe how young Paddy was when he first started. Yep. Dillashaw and Wonderboy were locks. Not the Dillashaw fight. As much as I like Wonderboy, he would get knocked out by Alex Pereira because Wonderboy kind of chinny. Alex Pereira, or are you talking about Michelle Pereira? Alex Pereira, yes. Michelle Pereira, who we're talking about, no. Joe, are you hyped for Bellator versus Ryzen on New Year's Eve like I am? I won't be prompted because it's Bellator, but this is one of the biggest things in MMA in a while. I mean, it's all right. Nothing spectacular, nothing terrible. In a hypothetical world, Wonderboy against McGregor would be pretty fun. That's what I've said. I said that. I tweeted that out last Saturday night. I said that's a fight I really wanted to see, and it would be fun. It kind of makes sense right now. It would kind of make sense right now. I'd rather see Khamzat versus Conor than Poirier for the 4th time. Khamzat versus Conor. Sign me up for that right this very second. Inject that into my veins. I would love that. I feel like the UK and Ireland have the best strikers, and guys from the Caucasus, Central Asia have the best grappling. Maybe. I actually have an imaginary friend named Toby. It is Carol from Where the Wild Things Are, and it will show up whenever I feel sad and cry. I'm glad to hear you have a friend that shows up. It's crazy. MJ was underdog. I put 200 on Cortez. It got voided, so I just put it on MJ. And you got it. That's crazy. Conor would get submitted in 1 round, but the build-up would be fun. The build-up, the press conference, can you imagine? Joey, is Rosas, Jay Perrin, Till Duplessis, Paddy, Gordon a smart 3-fight play? I just think Gordon and Jay Perrin are cans the UFC are feeding to hype trains. Jay Perrin's not a bum, all right? Jay Perrin could win that fight. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on Rosas, Till, and Paddy. That's a good parlay right there. Do you think Volk gets finished by Islam? Yes. I'll say like a 3rd round finish, 4th round finish. I think I could see that for sure. Because Islam is just so big and so strong. And even if he takes Volk down and beats him up a little bit here and there, and then, Volk works his way back to his feet, and, I think eventually it's going to wear on him, and eventually with the jiu-jitsu of Islam, he's going to find a submission. So I'll say probably Volk gets choked out. So Khamzat would actually absolutely maul Conor. Agreed. Do you think Volk already read that? I hope Volk wins. Yeah, I think a lot of people like Volk. Do you think Sean Strickland has a point when he says UFC fighters are soft? People from 3rd world countries are better fighters because of their rough surroundings. I mean, it's probably true, but I don't know. I haven't really put too much thought in it to really delve into it too much. But for sure, I mean, a lot of these guys, they're like way out of poverty. So, I guess a lot of them may be more motivated than ever to be able to get those wins and to train and try to get out of the bad situations they're in. How would Volk versus Fiziev go? I mean, that'd be a crazy, wild fight. I would probably go Fiziev, but I'm very, very, very confident in Fiziev. I'm very uh high on Fiziev. So, do you think like the stream? Yeah, I would greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate it. Joey, do you make six figures or close to it? Wouldn't you like to know? Wouldn't you like to know? That's a weird question. That's a weird question for a stream, for sure. I can't believe we got one more week after this week, and then basically 3 weeks off, a month off, right? Let me take a look at Tapology real quick. I still got to go do my full card picks on Tapology, to be honest. UFC 282. Do I have all my picks locked in? No, I do not. Let me go with this one. Let me enter this. I'm got to enter my predictions in, the ones that I've already done. I think we're going to get an exciting card. I think we're going to get an exciting card on Saturday, even though it's not like the biggest of names. I'm sad we're not getting Yuri versus Glover too. I'd really be excited. But it is what it is, I guess. Okay, so let's go to Fight Center, UFC. So we got this Saturday, the following Saturday. Yeah, and then we're basically off for a month, right? Is it 3 weeks in between? Or 4 weeks? Let me look at a calendar. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's 3 weeks, but it's basically a month in between total. That's crazy. That is crazy. I know this is way too early, but do you think Pereira wins versus Izzy again? If he beats Izzy 4 times overall, that'd be pretty crazy. I favor Izzy, but you never know. After watching that last fight, you never know. Lowell, imagine Jarrett Gordon wins. That would be crazy. Should I bet on Till? I'm confident in Till. Can't believe it's going to be 2023 in 3 weeks. I know. It's crazy to me. Till said he got an eye poke during training. He felt it in the back of his eye. Ugh. This card is deep, though. Yeah, it's got some solid prelims on it for sure. What rounds do you think Jan gets finished? Probably third or fourth. Paddy, worst version of Justin Gaethje, both kind of sloppy and take a lot of chances. I mean, but Gaethje's a far better striker than Paddy. So, I kind of get your comparison, but I don't necessarily agree with it. I'm rooting for Jarrett Gordon. I like when people like him win and screw up Dana's plan, similarly how Dana didn't put the belt around Ngannou, I think you mean. Bigfoot, shout out to your imaginary friend Toby. Yeah, Till looked great against Brunson until he got grappled. I wouldn't say he looked great, but his striking is far better than Duplessis. I'm very confident in Till. The only reason I want Izzy to win is so Hamzat can choke him out, Usman back to back. That'd be interesting. Do you know any books about MMA want to give someone? No, I don't. I don't know any gifts about MMA. Did I say gifts or did I say books? I don't know any books about MMA. So that's an odd Christmas gift. Go buy them like a UFC Funko Pop. Let's see what kind of do they have any new characters out yet? UFC Funko. They have any new ones out? They got Daniel Cormier. That's been out. Chris Weidman, Anderson Silva, Habib. I have all the UFC Funkos, I think. There's only like 4 or 5 of them. Yep. My leg itches. So, yeah, I don't know. Buy him a Habib Funko Pop or something. Is Till fighting at welterweight or middleweight? Till is fighting at middleweight. He's not fought at welterweight since he got KO'd against Jorge Masvidal. Have you gotten any new UFC memorabilia? Can you show us if you did? I have not. I have not gotten any new UFC memorabilia. Do you think UFC Fight Pass? Do you have UFC Fight Pass and do you recommend it? I'm thinking about buying it for myself for Christmas. I get it intermittently. I buy it here and there. I mean, if you want to easily, I mean, not easily because the UI isn't that great, But yeah, I would recommend it. It's not super expensive, and you can find, pretty much all the fights, and it works relatively well, even though the search function isn't great. It works better than ESPN Plus, I'll tell you that much. For sure. Would you go to a UFC event and go live? Yeah, of course. No, not go live. No, it wouldn't make any sense to go live. Who do you got, Rosenstrike or Dawkins? I'm going Rosenstrike. I would go Rosenstrike. First round KO is what I'm probably my prediction for that fight. I mean, I don't think Dawkins. It's crazy. I was actually looking. It's like a 50-50 fight from what I saw on Tapology, I think, like for odds wise. Let me take a look again. Let's see. Okay, 82% of people are picking Rosenstrike on Tapology. But yeah, Rosenstrike's only a slight favorite. ESPN Plus is horrible. Yes, it is. But I still pay for it. Of course, you have to. Do you watch any other sports besides MMA? Not really. But a little bit. Yeah, a little bit of everything, but not really. Should Stipe get cut? No. Remember all the people saying that Oliveira could beat Khabib? That's comedy right there. Yeah. Where do you see this channel going? Like, what's the final analysis on where you think it could be 5 years from now? 5 years from now? I don't know. But honestly, I would like to make this channel into a massive channel in the MMA community. We're gonna see. I mean, we're trying to get there. We're creeping up to 10,000. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm gonna continue to improve. I'm gonna continue to learn. I'm gonna continue to try to put out good videos, and we'll see. We'll see. I definitely will have a dream of getting to 100K one day. I'm not even to 10K yet, so I'm not even 10% of that goal. But I kind of want that YouTube plaque. I think that'd be crazy. I think that'd be nuts. So we'll see what happens. Where do you guys think will the channel be in 5 years? That's what I need to know. So we'll see. That's too hard for me to think. Would you eventually get some fighter interviews and stuff? Yeah, I have done a couple. You've already said this, but thoughts on Glover still getting a guaranteed title shot? I think it makes sense. I mean, I think it makes sense for Glover to get the fight unless Yuri's ready to go. So we'll probably see we'll probably see the next title defense in maybe May or June would be my guess. And then maybe maybe Yuri will be ready for the end of the year. Joey's going to be Rogan's co-host. I doubt that. Rosenstrike has some power. I see a KO. Dawkins is a small heavyweight and a bad chin. Yep. No, they do not. 99.9K. That is I'll be happy with that. 5 years from now, 99.9K. There's a website where you can kind of look it up, but it doesn't really mean all that much. Let's go see what it says. Let's see what Social Blade says for 5-year projection. Social Blade, it's not really necessarily reliable, but it's always interesting to look at. It says in 5 years, I'll have 435,148 subscribers based on current growth. So it takes current growth and extrapolates it out for years to come. And it says 400 and some thousand. Now that would be insane to me. I would hope within 2 years I could hit 100K in 2 years from now. So that would be essentially 3.5 years on doing the channel. I'm not even I'm just at like a year and a half, right? Like a little over a year and a half. So by 2 years I will hit 10,000 within 2 years of starting the channel, which I believe is a really good milestone. But we'll see where it goes from there. It says I will hit 100K in about 2 years and 3 months. I'll hit 100K. That's what it says. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean to be true. How is Jan not the pick here? He beat Rakic by TKO, enough said. I mean, we know what happened in that fight. That's insane. That is insane. Only time we had a UFC pay-per-view in Finland was when Conor fought Dustin for the 3rd time. Other cases, we had to just pay monthly via play to see them, which is about 35 euros or pounds or whatever that is. That's crazy. I always forget that you guys don't. Most people in other countries and stuff don't have to pay for pay-per-views. it's usually like some paid service with like their cable subscription or something. Give it a couple years and you'll be a household name in the MMA community. We'll see, man. That'll be cool. That'll be cool for sure. Can you imagine the chat with those numbers? Yeah, that would be crazy. When you go to the mall, what's the first store you go to? I don't go to the mall, so none. 5 years, 500K, that'd be nuts. Could you imagine 5 years from now at 500K? I would faint. I'm 4 months into YouTube. It's hard, man. It's hard. Well, I'm assuming, man, but it's very, very hard. I started off pretty hot on YouTube for some reason. I guess I just had like the right topics I covered. But yeah, I mean it's hard. People don't realize how hard it is. It's very time consuming. And people think it's just, oh, you just record a video and just throw it up. It's really easy. It's not. But good luck to you. It's crazy that now I'm a year and 8 months. I'm a year and 8 months into it. So I'm 20 months into YouTube right now. Do you think the dude fighting an 18-year-old was scared to losing to a kid in high school? Yes, for sure. I'd be terrified. I'd be embarrassed if I lost to a kid like that. I mean, he really has nothing to be embarrassed of, but I'd be embarrassed for sure. Joey goes to Hot Topic. Yeah. I don't remember the last time I went to a mall and did some shopping. I mean, I can't imagine. I can't even imagine. It's constant work, that it is. What is Netflix and chill time? Which movie you watch? Which movie you watch? I don't know, man. I really don't. To be honest, I don't have any extra time at all, barely. I try to make extra time. A lot of times I'm just tired, really, because I stay up late, wake up early, do a lot of shit, try brainstorming videos all the time. I went to the people in the Discord know this, the members in the Discord know this, but I went to New York on Sunday. I woke up at I think like 5:45ish on Sunday morning. If you guys were with me on my stream on Saturday, I got off stream at like 1:30, and I still did a post fight. So by the time I went to bed, I laid down, closed my eyes for like 10 seconds. I think it was literally like 30 minutes I slept for. I was dead tired in New York City on Sunday. I almost died. I was falling asleep the whole entire, like I was literally walking and I was falling asleep. Love the grind and community. The content creating takes a lot of work. I put a lot of work into videos and fighter info each weekend. Yeah, man, it is a lot. I appreciate the support. What made you decide to start a YouTube channel? That's what I would like to know. I'm always curious. But it's tough, man. You can't worry about the views too much. You can't worry about it too much. It is what it is. When I started, I was just getting like 30 views, whatever, 20 views, but I didn't care. I was just getting experience. The early role of your YouTube posting is just to get experience doing it. Don't worry about any views. And just be consistent, keep working at it, and you'll be all right. Ever had wings at Hooters? Yes. How long have you had your YouTube page I started watching? A year and 8 months. There's really no blueprint to becoming a YouTube like any other job. It's definitely got to be a grind. Yeah, you can't expect you can't expect it to work overnight. That's what you can't expect. If you expect that, you're going to quit. I mean, think about it. Think about this. You guys think, "Oh, you're doing good on YouTube." Think about it. I've spent 2 years. Almost 2 years, not exactly, 2 years spending countless hours making YouTube content for very limited money. Very limited money. So I think by the end of 2023, I'll be decently profitable. I mean, obviously, depending on how you want to look at it. I've already put out all the money for all this stuff. But I'm saying I think by the end of 2023, I'll be making a decent monthly income off views and memberships and donations and stuff like that. That is my plan. But think about it, that's a long time. To go essentially 3 years putting a lot of work. I mean, honestly, guys, I don't add it up. I think I spend more than 40 hours a week working on stuff. So that's basically like a whole full-time job right there just on YouTube. So you got to realize doing that for years to then realize some success, 3-4 years down the line takes a lot of determination. But for me in my mind, I have to do it. I'm like super determined. Plus I like doing it in general anyway. So we'll see. I'll let you guys know next year how I'm doing at the end of next year. There's really no blueprint. Okay, read that. Where are you from? I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. Which last minute fight cancellation hurt you the most? I don't know. I was really upset. With Jones versus Gus and then Jones versus DC. But if I had to pick one that really devastated me was John Jones, Rumble Johnson. What's your favorite place to eat? Probably Chick-fil-A, honestly. Definitely Chick-fil-A. Not probably. I thought of trying to make something MMA related on YouTube, but I just don't know a way to stick out from everyone else. You don't need to stick out. I mean, do I stick? I mean, I guess maybe I do. I'm kind of different from everyone else, but you just need to grind, dude. But if you're not willing to grind for years to then end up making money, it's hard to stick to it. So many people quit because they think, oh, I'm gonna get overnight success. I'm gonna get money, and I mean, it doesn't work like that. But dude, if you want to do it, just try it out. You don't have to be nonstop. A couple videos a month. Start off with that. I wanted to since I was a kid. I posted a YouTube video in 2009. That's hilarious. Think about it. I wanted to start my YouTube channel since like 2012, 2013. I didn't do it till 2021. I did it last year. Imagine had I started in 2013 on this MMA YouTube channel. Where would I be today? But it is what it is. I'm here now, and I'm happy with it. An audience this size on Twitch is good money. I did not know that. What kind of sponsors would you be willing to work with? I have no idea. I don't even think about that. I've gotten some offers, but that's not something I'm really looking into right now. I'm not worried about it. I just want to grow my channel. I don't want to do anything to mess anything up. Torian Chases, Indiana. What are you talking about? I eat chicken every day. Congrats. Which upset you the most? Usman losing the belt, Charles losing the belt, or Izzy losing the belt? Charles losing the belt for sure. Do you drink? I do not drink. Is there any UFC event that really got you into sports? For me, it was Cody versus Dillashaw. Yeah, it was Anderson Silva, Chael Sonnen 1. It was Anderson Silva, Chael Sonnen 1. I was into the sport, but seeing Anderson Silva get beat up for 4.5 rounds to come back and get a triangle in the 5th round was straight up mind-boggling. Oh, you're from Indiana. Okay, that's awesome. The boys love betting on sports, especially UFC. Grew up playing hockey, but we love fighting, and we are tough as nails up in here in Canada. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. 4 months in now. I wish you the most success. Well, Joey, look, you're definitely in the right direction to be a future success. I hope so. But also, UFC forecast. I definitely look. I don't personally care. I'm just trying to give you advice. It's not worth it to go around and just say, hey, go into live streams or comment on channels and say, hey, check out my channel. You just got to post content consistently. The people will find their way there. If you have good titles, good thumbnails, good videos. So just be consistent is the one thing that piece of advice I can offer from the little bit of success that I've found. My guy, I was heartbroken when Charles got submitted. Agreed. Do you go fishing? Not as much as I would like to, but yeah, I love fishing. What got me into the sport was UFC Undisputed 2. That's crazy. Chael Sonnen is literally sponsored by a company where you buy a square foot of land in Scotland. That is wild. That is, but Chael Sonnen needs money, so he'll basically take it. He'll do anything for a check. All right, guys. There's a chance I might go live again tonight. I don't know if I will, but I will be live Friday for UFC 282 pre-fight stream. I will be live Friday for a Bellator stream. If you guys have any final questions, throw them in the chat. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the stream, subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to get out of here in a minute or two. I'm going to see what final questions you guys have. Do you think Joe Alvarez beats Paddy? Yes, I think he does. But that would be a competitive fight, though. I think Paddy could win, but I would pick Joe Alvarez. I'm still riding with Charles. Fair enough. I went on a 2-hour sad boy walk and then took a shower and listened to the Guts theme after Charles got submitted. Fair enough. I think a lot of people were disappointed. You know, I love Charles Oliveira, so I was sad. I think Charles loses his next fight to either Fiziev or Beneil. We'll see who he gets matched up with. Let's pump the brakes on him losing until we see who he gets matched up with. The Scottish land scam, LOL, I have no idea what it is, so I'll see. I got Charles beating Beneil and losing to Fiziev. I would probably agree with that for early predictions. All right, guys, I am going to get a Dariush versus Oliveira prediction. I lean Oliveira, but Dariush is underrated as hell and could definitely win that fight. So it depends. It's a 50-50 fight, honestly, but I'd lean Oliveira. All right, guys, thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like the live chat. If you missed any of it, go back and watch. I greatly appreciate you guys all for joining me. Join me Friday as well. I'll be live for like 4 hours on Friday for Bellator and UFC 282 pre-fight stream where I'll go over my full card picks. There's a slight chance I might go live again a little bit later tonight, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and enjoy the rest of your night. Good night. Go watch my UFC 282 prediction videos, which are on the channel. You can find the UFC 282 playlist on my main page. Go check those videos out if you have not watched them yet. I would greatly appreciate that. All right, guys. Good night.